Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima. Welcome back to Let's Play Gundam Breaker 3. Last time we got through what I like to call the filler arc of Chapter 3, where it was just a bunch of stuff being dropped in for later plot relevance. But for now, we're going to be playing the rest of Chapter 3. Hopefully. We'll see how long this video ends up. So, you might know something a little bit different on the right, but we're not going to worry about that right now. We just need to immediately continue and head on over to the mission counter. Because here's the thing. At the end of the last episode, we unlocked 4 missions. Simultaneously. Because, great. Yeah, we're going to be getting another montage going on. So, at the end of the last episode was when we unlocked these, and this is the only time in the game this actually pops up, having 4 missions played simultaneously. It's also the only reason that this chapter has the most missions out of any chapter in the game, just because they decided to throw in 4 missions here for no discernible reason. So, I've already properly cut to the 4 missions being played right now, and that, yeah, basically we're just going to be playing through with the old build, because I just made the new build before we started the recording, which means, don't worry, you get to see a couple more nukes, but meanwhile I want to take the opportunity to correct a couple of things I've said earlier on in the Let's Play, because this is actually being recorded a couple of weeks after the last recording session. So, notably number 1 is that I was a little bit wrong about not being able to load in extra designs on missions. So once you've completed a mission, you're able to load a design for Misa, but unfortunately, again, this is only for missions that you've already completed, so if you can already do it, why bother? Just do it again with the same build, unless, of course, you want to load in 2 people with Treasure Hunter or something along those lines. I haven't actually tested if that works. I'm gonna have to test if that works. And the other thing that I want to correct is that the Quattro Bagina situation that I talked about all the way back in the beginning of Chapter 2, that also happened in a bloody game of all things. It happened on, I believe, a PlayStation 1 fighting game? I'm gonna have to put a screenshot of that up on screen. But for now, I'm just gonna shut up and let you watch these 4 missions being played side by side. Funnily enough, having these 4 missions played side by side is actually hell on my video editing software, because it means that it needs to render a really complex scene, and it makes it quite difficult, and it takes a really long time. The things I do for you guys. So, we're just going to cut right back to the mission being played when this is over. So, see you in something like 20 minutes.
こ 味違うぞ。
そりゃ
やるな。 選突破だよ。ここまではなんとか来られたね。
お、いたいた。ああ、あんたたちだろ。綾と商店街チームって。
月見、いきなり失礼でしょ。
いいだろ、年も近いし。同じガンプラを愛する者同士。
なんでうちのチームを知ってるの？
リージョンカップ決勝見てたからな。
そういえば中継されてたんだっけ。私たちは沖縄宇宙飛行士訓練学校大津ガンプラ部よ。私は美空で、こっちが月見。よろしくね。
ここまで来るとなかなか年が近いやつに会えなくてな。話してみたかったんだ。
そうだよね。企業が出してるチームや趣味でも大人が時間とお金をかけてるチームが多いよね。こっちも同じくらいのこと知り合えて嬉しいよ。よろしくね。
で、そっちが大会唯一のロボット参加者で、そしてあんたがあの赤く光るガンプラの圧倒的な機体性能差を覆すファイターか。かっけえ。
こいつ中継見てから君の話ばっかりなんだよ。まもなく本戦開始です。予選突破チームは準備してくださいね。
時間か。じゃ、お互い頑張ろうな。フィールドであったら手加減しねえからな。
じゃ、またね。
Alright, we're back. So, we're going to move straight on to Icicle, Japan Cup Best 16. But before we do that, you kind of need to see the details of the new build here, because there's a couple of things going on here. Not much of the build has changed, but what has changed is actually quite important. So if we go to Assemble, we can go and check out a mechanic that I haven't shown off yet, I don't think. So the way some parts work in this game is that some parts actually have the ability to let you equip other parts. So for example, the Zanbuster here, which is the Crossbone Gundam X1's rifle. You'll see down in the bottom right in the information screen there, melee weapon Beam Zanba becomes selectable. And as a result, we have a new melee weapon. This does come with an advantage and a disadvantage. So the advantage is that you'll notice that the Zanbuster here is level 16. So therefore, the Beam Zanba here is level 16, and you don't have to go to any other effort to level up that part, which means if you're struggling a little bit for damage, at least early on, you can actually swap out for a part like this and make yourself relatively powerful relatively easily. The downside though is that parts that you equip in this way can't have abilities attached to them. So the Zanbuster rifle over here can have abilities on it, but when you come over to the weapon that it lets you equip, I can't equip any abilities to it. So later on in the game, it will become a lot less useful when you start getting some really good abilities going on down here in the loot. But again, early on in the game, this is actually a really good approach because it's really damn useful. Some other parts have been changed out. We've got a Unicorn Gundam head, the Turner Gundam body is the same, but now we've got Perfect Strike Gundam arms, which allows us to equip a main unit canister as a shield, which just, again, it just gives us a better shield. So this actually works out better for us stats-wise at the moment. I've also changed out some of our other parts. So if we head on over to our EX actions, you'll notice that I've changed out some of our EX actions because I haven't shown off some of the SD Gundam abilities yet that we've unlocked by improving our relationship with him. And I've also brought in the Voito Luminaire just to show it off because it's the Stargazer backpack special ability. And we've also got Cross Slash because I didn't really have an appropriate fourth ability to stick in here. Figured I'd just stick that in until we unlock the EX actions for the rifle, because there are a bunch of EX actions we simply haven't seen with him yet. So with that said, I believe I selected hardcore for this. I just need to double check. The amount of times I haven't done this is kind of embarrassing. Yep, we're good. So let's just jump straight in. Thankfully, the rest of this chapter is a straightforward march. We've got like 5 missions to do. So sit back, relax, and hopefully enjoy yourself. Yep, just get a look at his face and then we'll just move straight on. Thankfully, this is Core Assault, so this shouldn't be too much of a problem. Also, you might notice that I don't actually have a shield-equipped weapon anymore, which is just a bit of a disappointment. You might also have noticed that we have a bunch of, what do they call it? Option equipment, that's it. God, I've been playing this on my other Vita just to prepare for this, and I still can't remember the names of things sometimes. But yes, we have a fuck ton of new option equipment now. So let's use some of it. We have this gun, I believe it's grappling hook. So we can bring enemies closer to us to beat the shit out of them. Oh dear, I'm missing parts. I should get out of the way. Okay, come here. What's our rifle do? Regular old shot. But if you hold the L button... Hold the L button? I guess I need more thing. Alright. Whoops. Let's just heal up there. Let's see what our EX actions look like. They both look like relatively simple ground attacks so far. They get a bit more intense later on, trust me on that. I've been playing an alternate universe game, as I'm going to call it, throughout this Let's Play, which I've been using to play the levels ahead. And I've got almost all of the SD Gundams on it and all their abilities unlocked. So that'll be fun. Getting the shit kicked out of me right now, unfortunately. Thankfully, I've got plenty of repair kits. So we've got long blade, short blade going on. Ow. We've got the grappling hook. Yeah, that didn't work as I hoped. We've got repair kits, obviously. Missiles. Oh, are we just... Yeah, we're just throwing them out. They're not actually missiles. Okay. And a combo weapon pod. Now, the eye field is actually a relatively interesting one. It defends you from ranged attacks. It will reduce the amount of damage you take from them. Actually really useful, especially later on in the game, when you start taking more damage from everything. Having, like, 2 eye fields on at once is actually a really good idea sometimes. Because... you're not required to go to them and press a circle button like you are most option equipment in this game. You can simply just leave it on and it just automatically activates, and it becomes really useful as a result. Oh yeah, G and beam daggers. Hold circle and throw them out and they do a paralyze. Actually quite useful. So they basically just can't move, they can't do anything. It's good fun. Also, Voiter Luminaire, one of many of similar kinds of abilities in this game. Basically just speeds you up, like all of the other ones. So, what I mean by speed up is that it makes you faster in terms of your movement and your combo attacks. But it also means that you can, if you're in the middle of a combo or an EX action, you can press the boost button and just immediately get out of it. Which means that if you're having a little bit of trouble with certain kinds of enemies or what have you, just pop it on and just attack when you can and boost out of the way when you feel like they're about to kick your ass. Incredibly useful. Okay, so the Night Gundam Comet Sword is it's a ranged attack with a good field of effect, good area of effect. Oh, there's that bloody mammoth Gundam. Let's take care of him. Yeah, I don't like the mammoth. We're not even going to bother riding it. It really is just a bitch to aim most of the time. attack mean though? So we have the abdominal beam cannon. But what the hell? Okay, apparently you just jump up and fire bullets to the ground. I'm assuming you're meant to use that while you're in the air. Can't mean much else, surely. Wing Gundam. The Endless Waltz version, but it is indeed the Wing Gundam. I actually got it right this time. Let's put on the Voitaire Luminaire. And then, go into Awakening. And beat the shit out of everything we can reach. Easy. I really need to up the amount of stagger I take. In my alternate universe game, I've got like what's the name of the ability exactly? But basically, reduce knockback and reduce stagger. I've got them both at like 400%, so even at the end of the game, I've got like basically nothing staggering me. Meanwhile here, I'm just getting the shit beat out of me on a regular basis. There's a reason why reduce stagger and knockback is very useful. You're about to die. Get your ass back here. Okay, apparently I just get this. I don't remember holding the square button, but I guess that's what this game's performance does sometimes. Oh, hang on, Roboto, I'll come and help. Can't even run him down half the time. It's so annoying trying to control this thing. Alright, I gotcha. Let's go get that crate over there. Probably not that much useful in it. Just some plastic, but nothing wrong with plastic. You absolutely need plastic if you want to be leveling up your parts. So even if you're not using option equipment for much, get a beam dagger like that and you can just paralyze someone. Works for most bosses as well. It's only the really big ones that don't suffer from it. Alright, come at us, bros. The downside of this build is that it doesn't have that many good ways to break parts off. You mainly have to rely on the EX burst action in order to really make that happen. But it's alright. I've kind of come to terms with the fact that I'm gonna have to be grinding on this game in order to make it to the end of the main story. Because, man, just I'm really not having the luck I've been having on alternate universe game. My alternate universe game is going so well for some reason. It's bloody unbelievable. Just keeping him stunned so that he can't go anywhere while I'm trying to beat the shit out of him. Not doing well. There we go. No problem. But anyway, to emphasize how well my alternate universe game is going, because I got nothing else to talk about at the moment, something will come up. But my alternate universe game, remember how I said there's a skill called Treasure Hunter, which helps out with the amount of parts that you get. At least I think I brought this up in an earlier episode, but if I didn't, well, there you go. It's an ability. You merge it onto a part, mainly the head. Only the head has access to it. It's currently at 2. So every time I break every part off an enemy, and I've got a build that's very specifically built to do that, every time I break all the parts off an enemy and kill it, I always get like 3 or 4 parts guaranteed. Not to mention every time I manage to land a breaking attack, I also get 3 or 4 bonus parts. Meanwhile here I'm lucky to get 2 off of one dude, no matter how many times I hit it. It's certainly something. My alternate universe game is actually currently at the end of the extreme difficulty, which is not something you would know about yet, but don't worry, we'll get there. And as a result, he's basically the end of the game, which means I can probably go and record the video talking about what the extreme difficulty is now. That's not going to be showing up until way later in the LP, though. Basically, what I'm saying is, I'm taking care of this shit well in advance. Not something I usually do, but then again, Let's Plays aren't something I usually do. Death Scythe Hell. This Gundam has to be one of my favorite designs, like, ever. Honestly, couldn't tell you why. I love the wings, I love the wings, I love the scythe. And I just love how unapologetically edgy it looks. Like, Gundam isn't exactly something that looks edgy, at least most of the time. So when you've got something that looks like this, it's a nice change of pace. Although at the same time, it makes me laugh because in the series known as Gundam Build Fighters, although they've called it like 7 other different things now because it was really popular in the Gundam fandom, because it's basically just fan service all the way through, which, I mean, to be fair, you've got 30-something years of content to work with. Of course, you're going to have plenty of opportunities for fan service. But, oh yeah, Unicorn Gundam. Also another one of my favorite designs, but we'll get to that. One of the best designs that's come out of the Gundam Build Fighters series is one that's known as the Gundam Love Phantom, and it's basically the Death Scythe Hell, but it's pink. just painted pink. If you're aware of the Zaku Warrior, which got a pink design, it's basically the same thing. It looks silly, but it's also great and I love it. Come on, Unicorn Gundam. I am groundbreaking you whether you like it or not. There we go. There we go. Couple of nice easy ground breaks. The Sword of Flame is kind of like a shotgun, isn't it? Admittedly, I don't actually use those abilities very much, but it's an LP, I gotta show them off. At least a little bit. The closer you are, the more effective it is. It's also nice that it does what's called prominence damage. But again, that's not something that's entirely relevant right now. We'll get to that. I actually really like the crossbones too. The crossbones have always been one of my favorite designs as well. I could not tell you why. I've actually spent a fair bit more on crossbones than I have anything else. Like, the only kit that you could buy for the Death Scythe Hell was the MG kit, and it was one of the first ones I bought, but unfortunately I kind of broke it while I was putting it together, so that went well. But I also have a ton of kits for the crossbones. I've got a couple of crossbones from the Build Fighters stuff. I've got a bunch of the P Bandai ones, which are the ones that you have to basically get on special order, because they're like limited runs. And I haven't put any of them bloody together yet because I'm afraid I'll break them when I do. I've put together like easily a few dozen models at this point. But here I am being afraid of putting together one of my potential favorite kits, despite the fact I should be more than good enough to put together at this point. But I'm clearly still kind of an idiot because I put together a Stray Red Frame kit not too long ago. It was like a week. I put together the head and the body. And I forgot to put the bloody eye stickers in. Kind of hard to undo that mistake once you've done it. I've also done that more than a couple of times. My first RX-78, I forgot to put the eye stickers in, so it just kind of looks soulless. It doesn't look that bad when it's the doesn't look that bad when it's the RX-7 when it's the Stray Red Frame, but that RX-78, yeah, it did not look good. I was gonna do an EX episode that was just building one, but I could not figure out a good way to set up my phone's camera, and even then, I don't think my phone would be able to fit 3 hours of footage. My phone is still pretty good, but it's not that good. Ground break. Yeah. I am pretty sure they come back for another wave on this one. I've been wrong before. Yep, there we go. I feel like Obi-Wan Kenobi. They'll be back, and in greater numbers. I gotta make a really obscure reference to balance that out, because I feel bad about making a Star Wars reference. I don't know why I feel bad about making a Star Wars reference. See what you've done to me, The Last Jedi? I will at least give Misa a good benefit here. Her Gundam has a couple of healing abilities built right in. Really nice for keeping you alive this early in the game. Flame shotgun. There is a benefit to playing the PlayStation 4 version, and that is that you do get the higher frame rates. But honestly, in a game like this, I actually don't mind lower frame rates near as much as I would, because the low frame rates, unless you're massively underpowered, at which point you would have more than found out by the beginning of, like, just a particular mission. You'll get your ass kicked so fast, you'd be like, oh, I really need to go and grind up some plastic, level up my parts, get a few new abilities and what have you, just to make sure you don't instantly die. But in this game, unless you're massively overpowered, you're not instantly dying. You're getting the opportunity to pick yourself back up, use a repair kit, and just, like, not get the shit kicked out of you again, hopefully. But it also just kind of adds weight to the proceedings. I'm not going to say it's like, you know, it's cinematic or anything like that. That excuse was always incredibly stupid. Even for something like The Order, it's incredibly stupid, because bloody The Order, you need a good frame rate in order to, like, shoot effectively, right? But in this game, it doesn't matter, because you got the lock on. You can just circle strafe and fire away. It worked just fine. But in a game like this, it just adds weight to the proceedings, because when you've got, like, 6 or 7 enemy units on screen, there's a core flashing in the background, there's parts flying everywhere, the more you've got going on screen, it means the more chaos you're causing, which means just the more enjoyable that it is. It works the same way for games like Earth Defense Force, because the more ants you've got on screen, the more effects you've got going on, it just means it's more chaotic, and as a result, it's more fun. And the frame rate dipping is just like a physical indication of that. And that's the reason why I don't mind it so much. Mission complete. Annoyingly for these core missions, if you don't pick up those parts fast enough, they do disappear. It's not great. You might also know that I've got the nano skin ability equipped to my legs, which is from the Turner Gundam. Really good for your survivability. Really good. Alright, so we've got cross-slash maxed out, so now we've got slash Tempest, and we've also got Mirage Shot. Very good. Let's also see what parts we've got. Pretty basic stuff, although it's nice to have some higher level parts with some different abilities on them. Shield, and a ton of... Is that as much plastic? Select to convert to GP. 37,800. So yeah, we got a ton of high quality plastic. Good. We need that to level up. Let's back on out. There's really no reason not to keep everything, because there's actually a really good way to bulk sell parts, but that will come in a later episode where I show off the downsides of that. So we're just going to go swap our EX actions out real quick, and then we'll move straight on to the next mission. I like the music for building your gunpla in your hangar. So let's swap out our EX actions. Let's take Slash Tempest. Let's take Mirage Shot. And we'll leave Voltaire Luminaire in there. The Night Gundam Comet Sword is actually good for hitting multiple dudes at once, so we'll take that. Do we have any other burst actions? No, it's just the Moonlight Butterfly, but we'll hold on to that for now. Yeah, that should do it. Let's go do the next mission. Sandstorm, Japan Cup Best 8, and it's a Battle Royale, so this should be, well, it's Battle Royal, as they call it, not Battle Royale. Change that to Hardcore, and off we go. So hopefully this will be a relatively quick mission. Already at the 32-minute mark. Considering there's already going to be 20 minutes of missions at the beginning. Not good. Oh well, I already gave up on having short videos for this LP a long time ago. The nice thing about the rifle I've got equipped is that it actually improves the power of certain EX actions. And I have taken advantage of this massively in my game. Well, completely missed the shot, so it doesn't even matter. But I've taken advantage of this in my other game. Because I've... Whoa! 3 down at once. Very good. Let me finish the sentence I was actually saying, though. I've taken advantage of this in my other game because I have a certain ability which brings out all the parts on an enemy once it hits, but it also does, like, a ton of damage. But then I've also just doubled it with the use of an ability. So it does enough damage to take out even the mookiest of mooks. And then it just annihilates them. Ooh, Mega Rider. Completely missed you there, Mr. Mega Rider. I'm so sorry. I'm so used to my other game where doing that is like, it immediately puts out like 12 parts and 1,100 bits of plastic. It does make you wish that the vehicles were a little bit less effective, though. Just because, you know, there's only 3 different vehicles. So it can make it a little bit repetitive playing through some of these levels, because like, oh, there's a vehicle there, I should just use that immediately. And then you use it all the way through a room. It's weird though, because later on in the game, it does kind of happen. Some vehicles become really underpowered in the sense that they only last like 3 hits before they go down. But I still haven't quite figured out what causes one to be underpowered and what doesn't. And it's weird. Also, it's kind of annoying that you have to get off a vehicle in order to actually open these crates. Which I'm going to do and then immediately get back on. I remember the first game of Gundam Breaker I played where I got AV Gundam's, not the Turner Gundam's saber ability like that, and I would just spam it because it looked so fucking cool. It feels like that skit from The Simpsons. I'm gonna be doing this, and if you get hit, it's your own fault. And I just completely cancel it out. The Moonlight Butterfly and beat the shit out of it. Just hit 3 different targets, then try to run them over. Succeed. Yeah, you and your big backpack. You think you can run from me forever? I see you. Dead. But yeah, as I was saying, vehicles actually become really weak, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes they do scale to the difficulty, so sometimes you'll get one that has like 6 million hit points. But then sometimes you'll get one that has like 2,000 hit points and will just immediately die when someone shoots it. I haven't quite figured out what does it yet. I think it might be whether or not the enemies actually deploy on them. Like when one comes in from the air riding a chopper, that might determine how strong it actually is. Here comes a player encounter. Just immediately get back on. I don't know why they force you off if you can just immediately jump back on. It's weird. Yeah, it's like an actual team. Yeah, we might actually lose the Mega Rider here. That's the kind of part blowout I'm used to. Except there's usually like at least one exclusive part in there. All Treasure Hunter does is increase the amount of parts that get dropped. But that still means that you've still got a better chance at rolling a higher quality part. Guess we did lose the Mega Rider. We barely took any damage compared to what we started the fight with, so hey, I'll take it. Means we get more parts. Maybe it would help if there were more vehicles. More than a Base Jabber, a Mega Rider, and a Mammoth Gundam. It would be really nice if there were ever a Gundam Breaker 4. Just to have like a bunch of custom stuff. Must have turned off my lock-on by accident, there we go. But it would be nice for them to just like make their own custom stuff. I mean, not just like kit bash a few parts together. Like, make some unique Gundams. Make some unique vehicles. Make some unique, well, anything. Give the game a little bit more flair. Let them sell some more kits. Well, damn. I'll be taking that, thank you very much. Hey. Get back here! God damn it, stop being so quick. Only I can do... Hey! There we go. Mine. See, look, this one's only got 39,000 hit points. We take like 4,000 in one shot. So... this one isn't going to last very long at all. I'd like to know what causes that. Is it when vehicles get dropped down in the field, you don't notice them, and the enemy gets the opportunity to hop in, then their maximum durability goes down by a massive amount? Possibility exists. I'm actually in the middle of, well, trying to play the Nier remaster, and I massively miss the ability to press up on the analog stick to focus on the biggest enemy in the room. I miss that. I miss it so much. It's such a nice little tweak to a lock-on system. Meanwhile, you've got Nier, which every time you press a direction on the analog stick, the lock-on just seems to go wherever the fuck it wants. Oh, that part breaking sound is so nice when you get to do it like 4 times in a row. It's so good. Oh, twin rad, shit. might not damage it too much, so I can take it. Thank you. It's still only 30,000, but thankfully... line them up for us like a bunch of 10-pin balls. Balls. Pins! They're called pins, you idiot! Look, 941 durability. If I get farted on, I get thrown out. Yep, there we go. It's alright though. See you up there. Gonna save that awakening for the next major enemy. I know you're hurt. I don't carry healing ones around with me. I have to demonstrate the attacks for the people, Misa. Maybe learn to step. LRN2 STP. Learn to step. Keep good. I can't carry you forever. Dun. Swing! Yeah, I might as well awakening for this. The nice thing about awakening is that it actually does a fair few things. Not only do you like attack and not only do you attack faster and hit harder, but it does a bunch of other things too. The main one that I really appreciate is that it increases any automatic abilities that you've got on you. The one that I always think of, and the one that I've been taking advantage of, is increased healing. Any sort of auto repair or repair on hits that you've got equipped as an ability gets enhanced. So, if you make your build properly, you can actually use this to your advantage. I have done so in my alternate universe game. You'll have to wait and see how I take advantage of that though. That's going to be an EX episode because we're not going to be playing the higher difficulties through as we are now because you have no idea how long that will take. But there will be a video going over them when it becomes relevant. Yay! Gold part! Sazabi chest! Generally you want the gold parts more for their abilities than the fact that they're gold. Although if you want to fuse a few parts up to gold status so they can hold more abilities, like, I can buy that. Last encounter of the level coming up. The Freedom Gundam. Also another one of my favorite designs, mainly because of the backpack. Hell of a backpack. When you first build like a Freedom Gundam or a Strike Freedom Gundam, finish getting that backpack together, and then play around with the posing that you can do with that thing. Man, it's cool. That little fucker knocked my block off. Die. Do you think this is what the creators of Rock'em Sock'em Robots wanted when they made that little piddly toy? Never actually played with one, but I mean, if you can't describe Gundam Breaker 3 as Rock'em Sock'em Robots, I don't have a grasp on the English language anymore. Hello, perfect grade Gundam. It's always hilarious, like, they've got these absolutely huge shields, but it's got, like, no durability on it. Like, even compared to a player encounter, it's still pretty pathetic. Thankfully, they make up for it in other ways. Like, for example, hitting, like, fucking trucks. Let's just fix that up real quick. Admittedly, this is like the part where the Voltaire Luminaire and attacks like it are way more useful, because their attacks are like so big and telegraphed that it's actually really easy to just dodge out of the way when they start doing that really big swing when you're up in their face like this. Even if you're in the middle of like a melee combo. Oh dear, he's gone Super Saiyan. Nah, it's not that big of a deal. Same trick as the rest of the Perfect Gundams, really. Stay back, fire away. And you've pretty much got it down pat, because it can't really hurt you when you're too far away from it. Like, it's got... The Perfect Gundams usually have, like, really big beam attacks, but they telegraph them so hard. I don't even know how you pronounce that. They take so long in their animation to do it that it isn't really a problem in the slightest. See? Not a problem. Get in between their legs. They can't hurt you. Let's see, look, I'm out healing you. Awakening mode increases your healing capacity so much that you can out-heal the boss. You can out-heal the damage he does to you. Would have been cool as hell to get the kill off that, but oh well. Admittedly, the rifle is a good beginner weapon, because it gets a lot of abilities that can hit a lot of dudes at the same time. Enemy destroyed assist. Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Give me that plastic and those parts. Mark II Titan's head. Yay. I don't know why, but I've always liked the Titans paint jobs more than I do the AEUG's paint jobs. Probably why there's a Titan's blue color as one of the default paint jobs that you can get. A strike shooter. That's bloody weird. What was the other goal? Yeah, there it is. Stagger and knockback, ineffective when near death. Yes! You want that ability so bloody badly. It is such a good ability. It is such a good ability to have. Well, that's because it's gold. The gold abilities are always good to have. Nothing else of any particular note. Alright. No new EX actions by the looks of it, so I guess we'll just move straight on to the next mission. These are feeling a bit as much of a filler as anything else. Alright, Core Assault. Yeah, it's the... Yeah, okay. Straight in. 52 minutes we just hit. Fantastic. God damn. This really is the longest chapter in the bloody game, isn't it? Even when you're doing 4 missions side by side. Yes, now we get to defend the core, but this is always easy. Actually, no, it's not that easy here because there's no turrets. Pretty much every other time you do a core assault, there's turrets around that you can use, but... I do appreciate how they all look like actual teams now, and they're just not like random assortments of parts. But even on the higher difficulties, this is really easy because the majority of the time they'll be focused on you. So all you need to do is just stay away from the core. And they won't even go near it. They won't touch it. But again, most of the time with these, it's like, oh, I'm going to go hop in the turret and make it so that you can't attack. Because all your parts are lying on the floor. Yeah, look. No damage to the core. Mainly because they've all been going after me. That was a cute little grunt. Hey! I should not try to duplicate what anime girls do. That is a terrible idea. Come here, you little shit. Probably shouldn't have popped out the Voltaire there, because when we go to the when we end up going to the next core attack, it's just gonna be gone. Too bad, love. You did, and we move on. Yeah. There is an upside. If your react actions get cancelled out early, the meters actually stay partially full, depending on when they got cancelled out. Good stuff. Of course you want the EX action to actually get out, but... No! You wouldn't hold back for me. Why would I hold back for you? There we go. Job done. Bang. Yes, finally managed to get a full hit in. The Slash Tempest is very powerful, but man, you do have to put in a bit of work to actually get all those players to hit. Because if the knockback kicks in, or if you're just a little off angle, or if you want to hit multiple enemies in a row, it just kind of turns into a bit of a nightmare. Yeah, with Voltaire Luminaire on though, he's not getting back up. Yay, that means we get to go through 2 extra waves, I believe, because it's only gone down to a third. A little bit annoyed that it doesn't start the unicorn thing, but then again, with the amount of games I've played of this where I end up with a bloody unicorn part on and the awakening always starts with oh, might get a little sick of it at some point. Slow return against the wall. Come on, Robota. Let me hit him while he's down. You might be, I was going to say you might be a knight, but you're not actually on your knight right now. You might be a Musha Gundam. But Gunpla battles are not honourable. We do have to hit women. Sorry, I just needed a minute to process what I just said. Gunpla battles are not honourable. We do need to hit women. Even in context, that sounds bad. Where are ya? I know you just powered up. That's why you always leave 1 at mostly max health, because it's just going to get it back anyway under most circumstances. Save the Voltaire for the 3rd wave. Go. Just listen to the like sound effects going off every time that gets a hit. Poor girl has no idea what she walked into. Job done? Job done. Relatively short mission, that one, but we're still at over an hour. Thankfully, we've only got 2 missions to go. Didn't get much out of that. We got Shot Rain! Yay! And the only purple we got is Akatsuki. Akatsuki was also another one of my first Gunplers that I picked up because the... oh.
全国から集まった強豪チームはついに4つに絞られました。いよいよジャパンカップファイナルラウンド。これに勝ち残ったチームこそこの国で最強のチームとなります。
本当にここまで来れるとはな。
私も信じられない。これに勝てば商店街の名前が日本中に広まるよ。そうすればきっとまた昔みたいな賑やかな商店街が。
うちの会社も予想外の収穫だ。うちの製品がジャパンカップファイナリストの一員だぜ。
私勝ちたい。この決勝絶対に勝ちたいよ。
ああ、勝って帰っていつもの居酒屋で乾杯だ。うん。
I don't know why I always remember Misa being as annoying as Jar Jar Binks, but she's just a lot sweeter than I remember. Right. We have a new EX action. Let's go put it on. Do we want... we probably want both. So let's drop off the Night Gundam Comet Sword. Or just have 2 of these and a Slash Tempest. That'll do the trick, I think. Alright, let's go. Our next mission. Moonlight Japan Cup Finals. Battle Royal. I always liked the control thing here. It lights up whenever you do the relevant action. It even knows when to look for... Like, look, it even knows the part of the touchscreen you're tapping. Ah, the Kashraya. Absolutely massive, to the point where the box for the HG version is as big as the boxes for regular MG Gundams. Thankfully, it also goes down like a little bitch. Gun range ain't that useful, is it? Really gotta be focused on an enemy that's standing still. What enemies in this game stand still? Sure, you got the really long range ones, but... Alright. That is the Rosen Zulu. An absolute bitch to fight in Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme Versus. I know someone who was really good with it. There's like an Australian community of Extreme Versus players. And every time they got out the Rosen Zulu, I'd have to fight off the temptation to rage quit because, oh my god, the cage thing that they can throw out that just binds you in place, god, it feels like an absolute bastard of an attack. Job done. V2 Buster, I believe. V2 Assault, excuse me. I also believe the box for this one is actually quite big as well. Not huge like a Kastraya box, but still above average. Okay, so we talked about hitting women. This is clearly a metaphor for penis size. Double entendre. What's next? I can't subtitle this video the Chapter 3 hitting women. I cannot put hitting women in the title of this video, despite the fact that I'm half tempted to. If I do, YouTube will have me off the platform before I can say social justice. Now what? Let's Moonlight Butterfly this crowd. Watch the frame rate dip into the bloody negatives. Look at all the red lines coming out of them trying to get their parts back on. You should always try and get as many ground breaks as possible, because ground breaks are really good for ace points. The best way to go through like a 4-mission block is to go through as many ground breaks and pass outs as possible, because it brings up your ace points, which means that you can realistically get through. I'm pretty sure I already said this earlier on in the LP, but you can pretty realistically get through a 3 or 4 mission block with an ace point requirement just by getting enough ground breaks and parts outs in one mission. Incredibly useful if you're like me and trying to get through a higher difficulty as fast as possible. Short rain does at least hurt the bastards if they get caught, if they are standing still. So it's not completely useless. There it is. That bloody prism. Ah, another Banshee. Banshees just look kind of funny to me. Because they got one arm that's basically just a giant fist. You think about any other kind of like robot design and it's like, why would you just have a fist when you can have a gun or a beam sword or something? But nah, just giant fist. I want to punch things. Makes a little more sense in God Gundam. G Gundam. Not so much here. Jeez, that shot rain bloody flattens the stacker meter. Good God. I look at this area, and I remember, I do think it was the first time that I got killed by a perfect grade Gundam. A little bit of a spoiler for what a later mission pulls on ya. Don't worry, we'll get there. Ding, ding, ding. Oh god, it's this mission. I always remember this as being later in the game than it actually was. 2 perfect grades in this space. And this isn't even the end of the mission if I remember correctly. What do you even say to this? Thankfully, this is a little bit more spacious than most other places, but still. It's a bloody surprise to have 2 bloody perfect grades just dropped on you like this. Thankfully, though, the strategy remains the same. They're still pretty damn heavy, they still telegraph their attacks. So all you need to do, stand back, wait for your opportunity, and beat the shit out of them. Focus on one, and when it's dead, you can focus on the other. Kind of just walked into that one. Cool sword though. Job done. Move on to the next. What's the cube this time, huh? A Martial Optimizer. Great. Never been that big of a fan of fists. It's cool that they can suplex people. Thank you to Commodore who corrected me on that. Imagine if the roof was like half the height and he just banged his head every time he tried to do that move. Got him in the air with shot range. Good night. Yep. They put 2 perfect grades in a relatively small room, but that's still not it. You'd think it would be, but it ain't.
沖縄宇宙飛行士訓練学校ガンプラ部対鹿児島ロケット株式会社のバトルです。
先輩でも先輩は立てるものじゃないか。惜しい。しかしここで後輩2人を倒しても残りはあのチームか。だったらなあ後輩、なんすか。このままだと俺たちどっちも勝てないと思うんだ。
I wish they did things like this more often. More story, more characters, more story, more things like teams and alliances being formed and betrayed. It would be such a neat thing to do. Imagine this game with the Nemesis system in some shape or form. That would be something else. Also, get used to these two. Not the older guy, but get used to the 2 kids. We'll be seeing a lot more of them in the next chapter. Hey, go bud. Gimme. Shield Buster Rifle. Interesting. Look at this stack of meter just melt. Yep, wasn't gonna let you get away with that one. Now we're done. Shield Buster Rifle. Some good stuff, I suppose. Ooh, 1,000 extra auto repair for the backpack. That will be useful.
れでは30分後、優勝した綾戸商店街ガンプラチーム対ミスターガンプラのエキシビションマッチを
Yeah, we
開
get to
催し
fight
ます。
Mr. Gumpler.
皆さんお楽しみに。
We get to pull that afro off his head.
待ちかねたよ。
Didn't get any X actions this time, so let's just go fight Mr. Gunpla and finish the chapter, shall we? See, even Mr. Gunpla can appreciate the Stargazer backpack. It just looks cool. See, I even got the Stargazer off him. Even the game knows.
Misa, 私たちは離れていよう。でも主殿の邪魔になる。
私たちは日本一のチームなのに。
世界は広いな。
The world is wide. What is that supposed to mean? But yeah, notably, this is actually a part of the game where you're entirely by yourself for a while. Thankfully, the fight isn't actually that hard. Despite the fact that he's an awakening, he's not really that much stronger. So just wail on him. Once you get his stagger meter down, the fight's basically over. Notably, you can knock all his parts off and bring him and ground break him during the first half of the fight, but it'll just bring you straight to the second half of the fight. He'll still be at about half health. Even when you're not an awakening. Normally you're not able to actually damage him in the first section, but since I went into Awakening straight away, it just went, yeah, there was no point sticking around, just a couple of extra voice lines. And that's the end of that. Honestly, I wish that was a little more challenging. They could have given him a bit of a better boss fight to end off the chapter with, especially since I don't think you get a major boss fight on this chapter. So, just ends up being a little disappointing at the end of the day, but oh well.
本当に素晴らしいひとときだった。年がいもなくはしゃいでしまったよ。はしゃぎすぎだよ。
何なの？
外部から侵入しているのか。
たまたまテレビをつけたら引退したチャンプがバトルしていたのでね。
こんなの予定には。
君はウィル少年なのか。
Really bad competition if anyone could just break in at will like that.
に敗れたようだけど、今回もまた勝ちを譲ってあげたのかい？違う。私は全力で戦ったよ。8年前は僕に勝ちを譲ってくれたのに。いや、君よかったね。手加減してくれる優しいチャンプでさ。よせ。彼もこう言ってるんだ。日本一のトロフィーをもらってとっとと家に帰りなよ。へえ、すごいスピードだ。止まってみる。
主殿。
こんな。
下手くそ。
Just sit down.
力の差が分かってるみたいだね。
Just the strut away.
なんだよも
すまない。全部私のせいだ。
That does end the mission. Notably, you don't even get the two guys next to you because you finished it off by yourself, but there is a cutscene.
もう8年も前のことだ。私は多くの国際大会で優勝を重ね、乗りに乗っていた。多くのスポンサーがつき、ミスターガンプラと呼ばれ始めたのもこの頃だ。ある時、私はアメリカで開催された大会に参加し、そこでウィルという少年と出会った。私のファンだというその少年は、決勝で私に挑戦すると笑った。私はその子に力を尽くした素晴らしいバトルをしようと口では言ったが、その子が決勝まで残るとは思っていなかった。だがウィル少年は決勝の舞台で私の前に立った。彼とのバトルは私が久しく忘れていた互角の相手と戦う高揚感を思い出させてくれた。年の差なんて関係ない。新たなライバルとの出会いを心から喜んだ。お互いがお互いを高め合い、戦っている間にもさらなる成長を遂げていく。そして素晴らしい時は瞬く間に過ぎ、私は彼に敗れた。私はとても晴れやかだった。決して悔しくなかったわけじゃない。
Note the lack of afro.
それ以上に素晴らしい満足感が私を満たしていた。しかし私のスポンサーはそれを許してはくれなかった。私がそれに気づいたのは翌朝のニュースサイトを見た時だ。ミスターガンプラ、少年に夢を与える、そんな見出しだったか。努力の末に勝ち残った11歳の少年を勝たせるため、私は勝利を譲った。私は全力を出して負けたわけではない。そういうことになっていた。私はホテルを飛び出し、彼の元へと走った。しかし 我に帰った時、私はホテルの前に戻っていた。手には傷つき折れ曲がったあの大会のトロフィー。もう二度とあの時のようなバトルには出会えないと思った。ならば私のバトルはもうただ日銭を稼ぐためだけのものだ。私はその日ファイターであることをやめた。あのバトルは心ない大人たちの思惑で嘘にされてしまった。ならばせめてあのニュースの見出しだけでも本物にしよう。奇抜なファッションに身を包み、道化を演じてでもステージでみんなに夢を与えよう。私はミスターガンプラなのだから。リージョンカップ決勝戦で君の戦いを見た時、現役時代を思い出した。あろうことか立場を利用してエキシビションマッチを予定に組み込んでしまったよ。結局それが君たちの優勝に水を差すことになってしまった。こんな私がバトルなどするべきではなかった。そうすれば彼もあんなことは。
ミスターは悪くないよ。
ねえミスター、その子はどうして突然姿を見せたんだろう。
私がバトルすることが許せなかったからでしょう。
そうかな。それだけなのかな。
しかし他に理由が。
さあ、いつまでもどんよりしてないで。冷めちゃうわ。
おお、そうだな。嫌なことは飲んで食って忘れちまえ。
そうだよ。私たち日本一になったんだよ。日本中に商店街の名前が轟いたんだよ。
そういえばクリーニング屋の新井さんから電話あったよ。もうすぐ出稼ぎ終わって帰ってくるって。
うちには電気屋のワトから連絡あったぜ。商店街復活も遠くねえぞ。
なんだよ、朝から元気だな。
世界大会の招待状が来た。
世界大会の招待状だよ。見せてみろ。こりゃすごい。会場は宇宙エレベーター。しかも決勝戦は静止軌道ステーション。
There's that space
当
station.
然参加だろう。
当然だよ。
それはよかった。
どちら様？
やれやれ、商売敵なのに顔も知らないのかい。
タイムズユニバース CEO だな。
なんでこんなところに？
こっちに作った百貨店が振るわないんでね、視察だよ。こちらは僕の秘書のようなものだ。ドロシー、挨拶を。
お初にお目にかかります。ドロシーと申します。ウィル坊ちゃまが尊大な態度で極めて不愉快でしょうが、何卒ご容赦ください。私の顔に免じて何卒。
ドロシー。
は、私初めての日本で少々浮かれているようです。
さてお嬢さん、一つ勝負をしようか。
勝負？
奇遇にも僕も世界大会の招待状を持っている。
なんで？タイムズユニバースはガンプラチームなんて持ってないでしょ？
うちの一部門に宇宙事業があるんだ。宇宙エレベーターにも出資している。まあそんな縁があってちょっとお願いしたのさ。それで僕が勝ったらこの商店街立ち退いてほしいんだが。
そんな勝負受けるわけないでしょ。
お嬢さんは別に出なくても構わないよ。僕が戦いたいのはそこに突っ立ってる君らのエースだ。この間のエキシビション、君はチャンプとの戦いで消耗していた。全力だったらあんなことにはならなかった。なんて言い訳されるのも面白くない。だからさ、もう一度バラバラにしてあげるよ。
あんた、まさかあの時のガンプラ。
受けてくれるよね。まあダメならこの辺一帯を側近で買い上げることもできるけど。
そんなの。
それじゃ宇宙エレベーターでお会いしよう。ドロシー、帰るぞ。
この後は浅草の雷門です。
どうすんだよ。
どうって？
ウィルはうちのエースと戦えればいいってよ。じゃあどうすんだよ。
何が言いたいの？
うちのエースはジョーちゃんだって言ってなかったか？
そんな昔のこと持ち出さなくても、私エキシビションで何もできなかったのに。
だからエースはこいつでいいってのか？こいつだって何もできなかっただろ？一瞬でバラバラ。でも逃げないよな。強え相手が出てきてちょっとワクワクしちゃってるよな。今度やっても負けるかもしれねえけど、商店街とかぶっちゃけどうでもいいよな。
なんでそんなこと言うの？
勘違いしてるかもしれないから言っとく。商店街をどうにかしたいのはジョーちゃんだ。俺たちじゃない。本気でここを守りたいならジョーちゃんが突っ張んねえでどうすんだよ。
私しばらく留守にする。
まったくよ、エンジニアの仕事じゃねえってな。ロボタの方は俺に任せろ。あとはお前さんだ。近々小規模だが国際大会のツアーが開かれる。お前さんだってもっ
A
と強くなら
small
なきゃ
scale
ならんぞ。
international tournament. Yep, there's the rub. I called the first half of this chapter the filler arc. Chapter 4 is basically the filler chapter. Nevertheless, we just finished chapter 3, so we get to move on to chapter 4. But that means right now we're done with this video. Although one last thing I'd like to point out before we leave. Did you pay attention to the trophy that Mr. Gumpler gave Will during the flashback cutscene? It was regular, and then when it gets beat up, it ended up looking exactly like the pose that Amuro's Gundam takes at the end of Gundam 79. Yeah, they tend to slip in references like that in these games a lot. With that said, this has been Blue Maxima. I'll see you all next time.